Scott's going to be all head coach and general manager search is you're doing a film breakdown of Will McDonald. You've been sharing a couple of clips in the Discord. It's something we've been talking about in the Badlands group chat. I think McDonald was a guy we talked about a lot over the summer. A lot of people sort of presumed he was a missed first round pick. It was really actually generally shocking when they took him. It was one of the most surprised I've been in the moment at a Jets first round pick ever. And it kind of got lost in the shuffle because it was right after the Rodgers trade. So everyone was like, yeah, whatever, who cares? Will McDonald. And was very underwhelming as a rookie, more due to lack of opportunity than anything else. Now, I shouldn't give credence to anything I see on Twitter, but a common thing you hear in the Twitter mentions is that McDonald is really just like a sack merchant and he's very one-dimensional and like the numbers are inflated this year and he's actually not that good. I disagree with that. Even as someone who does not watch the film as closely as you, I think you could see the effort and energy level and the impact in the run game on top of the 11 or so sacks he had this year. What is the early tape saying about him from a closer look?
So it's interesting when you watch a guy throughout the course of a season and then you watch a guy recapping his season, because I do think you learn different things. What I've learned while watching all McDonald's tape after the season, or what's really jumped out to me, is just how consistently he was playing at such a different speed than a lot of the other guys on the defense. He brings an element of speed and effort. I want to make McDonald's an interesting case of perception, right? Because you hear him talk and he's kind of a skateboard hippie and he's not this, like look at like TJ Watt, like his persona and guys like that. And even Khalil Mack. And McDonald's more laid back in interviews. He's a little bit quiet. He's not like, I'm the man or this and that, or he doesn't really crave the spotlight. Honestly, he doesn't. He's even going back to Iowa State, like this guy was the Big 12 all-time sack leader, and he was kind of just a chill guy. How he plays on the field, his effort level is so high, and his game speed is so high. It's amazing. I have this one play I'm going to show in the breakdown of him coming from the backside of a play, and Reddick is just doing literally nothing where the play is the quarterback's flushing to. And McDonald comes all the way from the backside of the play and chases the quarterback for a play that went way too long. And it's all effort. It's literally just all effort and speed. Now, what shows me signs of him being a good pass rusher in this league for years to come is that he's not just out there like Aaron Maben running around and getting these crazy coverage sacks from being fast or having length. He has now 3 moves that give him sustainable success as an NFL pass rusher. And I'm not going to talk about the whole run. I know he's got to get better against the run. I understand all of that. I think the Jets need to get better against the run around him as well. What matters is this guy sacks the quarterback, okay? And I think we have lost in this world of, I am somebody that for scouting, I love pass rush win rate. I love hurries. I love quarterback hits. I get it. They're valuable. Just like guys that score touchdowns, which is a skill. It's a skill. Guys that sack the quarterback, that's a skill. There's a reason why there are some guys that generate pressures and there's some guys that have double-digit sacks every year. There's a reason why some guys are good running backs but don't have 10 to 12 touchdowns every year. Punching in at the goal line is a skill, just like sacking the quarterback is a skill. There's an element to finishing plays. McDonald has 3 pass rush moves right now that are working in sync with one another. One is his ability to get off the ball, dip his shoulder, and bend around the outside shoulder of the tackle into the pocket. 2 is the spin move, that when you work that outside speed over and over again, a tackle starts to overset and opens up a big gap, a big lane for him to spin into. So when the tackle oversets, his spin move is so effective because there's an opening now between the tackle and the guard. You have the tackle on more of an island rather than in a phone booth. Then the third move, which I love, is allowing him to kind of work both of those and blend it. Because if it's either he's spinning inside or he's rushing with speed outside, the really good tackles, as athletic as he is, they can kind of game plan into that. He's working this rocker step where he gets off the ball, he takes a big exaggerated step on the inside, it makes the tackle slide that way, and then he does the speed move on the outside around the shoulder. Because if they're starting to set wide and that speed's not working right, you're going to force them once again to protect the inside. So that's the move to me that nobody talks about. Everybody knows he could bend, dip and bend. Everybody knows he could spin. But this rocker step he has now is the third move that he unlocked this year that's a legitimate weapon. And the last thing I love about McDonald's season as a whole, he didn't go out there and he got a third string tackle for 4 sacks and compiled numbers. Yeah. He kicked the shit out of Teron Armstead a couple times, Deion Dawkins a couple times, and Laramie Tunsil a couple times. He got Broderick Jones a couple times, and we're like, okay, Broderick had a bad year. Those other 3 guys are really good tackles. They're really good tackles, and he got them. He got them a couple times. So, I mean, it's so funny how people move the goalposts for this guy. It really, really is. Like, maybe he's just
It's okay to like a young player. Maybe
it's okay he's long, athletic, fast. He plays really hard. He clearly works really hard. And his teammates really like him. And he's a double-digit sack player. Like, do you know how many teams in the league would kill to have a Will McDonald right now? And what's even more amazing about Will McDonald having the season statistically that he'd had is that the Jets were barely ever winning games where he got to play his game. If he had the opportunities that Bryce Huff had from the previous year, not to take away anything from Huff, who we love, you could wonder if the 10.5 sacks is maybe 13.5. 14.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you could say it with your chest. Like, Will McDonald's a really good pass rusher. And if the Jets actually put competent players around him, not named Quinnen Williams, he's only going to get better.
Quinnen, JJ coming back, McDonald, maybe a little Mason Graham at 7, maybe a smart signing or 2 in free agency that isn't Kinlaw and Clemens and Sal Thomas. All of a sudden, that front looks okay. Very quickly. Could also be Abdul Carter. I mean, these are going to be common names you see, and they're only going to make McDonald's life easier. McDonald had to do it on his own this year. Reddick was a complete zero. He's as bad as any Jets edge I've seen. I've watched a lot of really bad edges. He was truly on his own out there and still double-digit sacks, which, man, if you're a Jet fan, like, remember how hard double-digit sack seasons were to come by? And they're just, like, rolling off the shoulders now? Like, come on.
We take things for granted now.
Let's not take that for granted. So I encourage everyone to look out for Connor's film breakdown this week. I encourage everyone to look for a little flight plan, a little buck to tread, little TOJ talks in the back half of the week. I encourage everyone to go to badlandstoj.com and get a hoodie before we start shipping next weekend. And Connor and I will be on standby for any emergency pods. As you know, we're also pretty far down the road on Streets of Fire. We got 1 episode fully in the can, which was a blast to record. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. We're recording a couple more this weekend, and then a few more the weekend after, on track for a February 10th launch. And as you know, live show April 11th. Tickets will be on sale by February 10th. Going to look at a venue right now after recording this. So hopefully we'll have that locked soon. Thank you, War Room. Thank you, Discord, for keeping it cranking and keeping us informed. We will talk to you soon.